First off, the sample should be whole blood, either drawn with ADTA or on heparin. The second step is sample preparation, which involves breaking down red blood cells to obtain hemoglobin. Our goal is to separate the hemoglobin, hence if hemoglobin is within red blood cells, we cannot separate it. Therefore, we rupture the red blood cells until the hemoglobin is released. This process can either be done with a solution provided by the company or by your own method of adding distilled water to the sample. Whether it be by breaking the sample or the red blood cells, the company-provided solution consists of distilled water and potassium cyanide. Potassium cyanide serves as a preservative that mixes a volume of the sample that the whole blood took with 3 sizes of the substance. This mixture is then incubated for 5 minutes to rupture all red blood cells, releasing the hemoglobin. Following that, you'll need the electrophoresis dish. The electrophoresis dish before you is made up of 2 separate chambers, each filled with a buffer. The buffer, or liquid buffer, is a powder that the company also provides made up of NADTA. Our boric acid is 3 materials. The purpose is to make the alkaline medium pH from 8.4 to 8.6 after we generate the gel. The company will provide you with it, ready and prepared. The aluminum comes when you open the book. You see the gel from it. You must leave it for 5 minutes in the buffer. Soak the gel in the buffer for 5 minutes after. It's ready for use. The company provides you with a tool for taking and distributing the sample. Don't make any mistakes while distributing the sample on the gel. The tools are like small chambers. These can hold 8 or 9 chambers. Each chamber is for a separate sample. Take 5 microns from the prepared sample and place it in a chamber. Each sample is placed in a different chamber. If you want to improve it, place it in the last controlled chamber. There's a control sample for comparison. Then you get the second tool. The second tool, the applicator, is for taking an amount of the sample you've put after you've layered it on the gel. Make sure it's done in a correct way and in a shape that allows you to evaluate. You read the sample, so you take it and press it 2 or 3 times until you take a suitable amount of the sample that you put it and remove it and put it on the gel. Of course, there is another tool the company will provide you. In it, you put the generation in it, you put the cathode area on one side and the anode area on one side. I mean the pole area, the negative and the positive pole, each one at the end of this device is dialed for you where you want to put them. Then you take the sampler and put it at the end near the negative pole. You press it once or twice, then the sample is applied to the skin. The sample takes the skin. Of course, it is a part of it cellulose and part is plastic. I mean, his back is plastic and the part opposite you, or the upper part, it is the cellulose that you applied the sample to. You take it, you prepare the dish, the deportation dish. The deportation layer, as you see it, looks like it is 2 rooms to ensure that the liquid arrives for fetching. You take like a leafy filter and dip it in the buffer, and you wait for it on the contrary or the special letter in the bowl from both sides, from the side of the anode and from the side of the cathode, and apply the gel in a way that the face cellulose is brought down so that it meets the filter paper until the current passes through it. Of course, the side of the sample is near the electrode. Then you cover the device or the bowl and connect it to the power player. The power player is the current provider. In our case, we will use a current of 350 volts for 25 minutes and turn on the current and wait until the process is completed. After the migration process is completed, you have the dye stage. You take the gel and put it with a dye. The dye is called benzo S. You leave it for 5 minutes, then you wash it in 3 stages. Acetic acid, in other words 5% each time for approximately 2 to 3 minutes, then you put it in absolute methanol to dry it from the water for 5 minutes, but every time for 10 or 15 seconds within 2 containers, then eventually you put it in a solution named Clearaid, so the gel becomes transparent and you can read it on the scanner or the device that is going to read the result for you, and finally you place it inside.